Good morning, everybody. We are so excited for this week's episode of BU Breakdown. I'm your host. I am so thrilled to have joining me this week. Guys, we have President Barack Obama. He's going to be joining us. We're just so President Barack Obama is feeling a little under the weather. Michelle just let us know. So I guess we're going to be doing a best of episode because the entire Broadway Unlocked team is here at the Artist Co-op for a meeting, as well as a special announcement.
Mark down Sunday, May 13th, 7:30 p.m.
for the 4th annual Give Back concert.
Powered by Broadway Unlocked. Violence is an epidemic that affects every corner of our lives.
And as artists, we say,
so join us for a live stream interactive concert on Facebook Live.
With some of our favorite writers and performers. And the stories of incredible artists working to end violence and show support to survivors and give them the dignity and help they deserve.
So yes, don't miss this once in a lifetime concert where the best view, the best seat in the house is right in your living room.
RSVP at the link below and be a part of this project.
Where will you be on May 13th?
It's time to raise
Guys, here's what you need to do. You need to make sure that you RSVP on our Facebook page. Make sure that you are following along with all the information we're putting out. Guys, we're building an army, and our army is full of artists and people who care about things, and we're really excited. So join us, and for now, enjoy this best of video of BU. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning to the internet. Hello, everyone. Hello, 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 and welcome. Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be your weekend substitute for Kathy Lee and Hoda. Good morning, Vietnam. I mean, it's actually Vietnam's 12 hours ahead, so I think it's actually good evening, Vietnam. Anyways, good morning, friends. I'm your host, Carl. We are artists who are raising our voices for survivors of violence.
I'm wondering, this is so right. If I read somewhere, Emma Watson was the person who kind of spearheaded this movement at the Golden. Read that right somewhere? Okay. And what I find really interesting is earlier this week, I guess, right after the Golden Globes and after she did all of this, I came across a Facebook post where someone was talking, had retweeted this 4-page long statement that Emma Watson had released, where she basically was like, listen, I know she didn't say it in these words, but this is how I translated it, was listen, I know I've made some problematic statements in the past, and it took for a bunch of people, including my fans and random strangers online, to call me out. And so I think that goes back to show that us as just normal people, the people who are on the ground running, not the Hollywood elites or the people in Washington, can affect some kind of change and inform our culture leaders, our political leaders, hey, this is not, what you're saying is not what we're going through. And I think that's probably why she started spearheading this movement, because really at the end of the day, these normal women and men on the ground running, not in Hollywood, are the people that are leading these movements, and they are the ones, not the actors, who are showing us and the actors and DC the way.
It feels like with the news, if this was a serial killer who had killed 140 girls and there were all these people that had looked the other way, we wouldn't stop hearing about this. I mean, I also understand there's a lot at play. It's a competitive news cycle, right, et cetera. But there is some, it feels to me concretely like there's something different about the way reported.
And let's make a more direct comparison. When the scandal at Penn State happened, which is relatively similar, but on a lesser scale, it was on the news forever. I mean, that's all that was being played. And
that was a coach, is that right?
Yes. Jerry Sandusky was I think offensive or defensive coordinator, so like this number 2, and ran a camp where he was abusing young boys.
That's where I think the difference is. It's in news, in the media, it's more of a scandal because it was a man with a young boys. This is a man with 100 girls.
And that's part of consent, right? It's like, what do you agree to when we're together? And the consent changes. And we have to realize that. Just because you say yes for this one thing doesn't mean it's not no for another thing.
So,
well, and it doesn't mean that your opinion's not going to change in 5 years. Do you know what I mean?
Or 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk about that then. So obviously, Aziz did not gain consent in the way that he should. What would he have done differently that would have changed the night for the 2 people who were involved in this?
I mean, 2 separate conversations, isn't it? It's one.
Mm-hmm.
We have consumers and audiences that continue to support the art of someone who is a serial abuser of people. So that's one conversation. And then you have another conversation that's artists and producers and entertainers that continue to work with the people. And it's weird, isn't it? So it almost makes more sense. People that work with these individuals, like, we should know. We're on set, we see it, we should know. So we shouldn't work with them again. So you take an example of somebody like Woody Allen. The allegations about Woody Allen were with him and his family. People weren't there to witness it, so you have to build one first. And then, like you said, you have to have that strength of character, I guess, and willingness to not work to say, I'm going to say no to that opportunity. Really, like, it's a different thing for somebody that's already an A-list actor to say, I'm not going to Woody Allen. And then for somebody that, even if you have a small career, you're not a well-known name, those things, it's not a simple, it should be a simple conversation about these kinds of behaviors are unacceptable and I'm not supporting it. But because opportunities are so few and far between for artists, I think we get pinched in the middle of those 2 things. And that's hard.
That's right. Like, diving in there actually makes it, if you kind of try to put yourself on all sides of the issue, it makes it extraordinarily complicated, because we're talking about the health and safety of a performer. And then we got to, well, the solution really is like something like a deputy, but then you're looking at it going, oh, well, I can't enact something like a deputy because then I'm going to risk the performers trying to unionize, which doesn't fit my business model. And now we're putting people's health and safety at risk because of a business. I mean, man, it's like a complicated wormhole.
Well, and talk about business decisions. That's the whole problem here in a lot of ways, is that there's one guy allegedly in this article that has created problems, who continues to come back and continues to come back, and they allow him to. That's huge. Like, and it's literally that they are valuing his $100 ticket more than they are the safety of their actors. That's all it comes down to.
So basically, I made myself, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I made myself watch the video that the teacher shot in the classroom before they got out. Yeah. And it's awful. And the thing that struck me, I think, when I was watching it was that if people were able to feel how real that was, the way I did when I watched that video, we wouldn't be having as many rhetoric debates. We'd be talking about actually what to do to stop these, you know, those screaming children and that crazy carnage that you saw in the video. And of course, my, you know, brain jumped to artists, because that's what we do, right? We make stuff that makes people have empathy or understand someone else's position. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I think maybe though, to start off that conversation, you know, how did you guys, what have you been thinking about this week as you processed all this information as you know, working artists and as human beings, obviously?
So I am a person who I try really often to like be self-reflective and like think about things that I have experienced and deal with them in the best way, all that kind of stuff. And when I was in college, there was a professor who sexually harassed a lot of the female students. And I remember being like, he's not going to do anything. It's not that bad. Like, you just got to ignore it. And now Carl now is like, no, fuck that. Sorry if you're a kid. Like, forget that. That's not how we deal with this. That's inappropriate. That's not okay. And go ahead, Jess.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the nice thing about human beings, the positive part of that is like, when you know someone personally, you expect the best of them. And we default to like, I'm wrong about this. This person is good. You know
There's
what I mean?
no way they could do that. They're good to me.
Good's, yeah, and good is a sliding scale, so it's a dangerous label to use, I know. But yeah, like, and that's not a bad thing. That's something we have to deal with when we come up with solutions for stuff like this. It's a part of life on this earth as a human being, as we tend to default to assume the people we know and interact with are not doing something that's wrong.
Our first person that I'm going to introduce is Diego Pfeiffer. Diego is a student from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas School who's been protesting gun violence across the country. What are things that you've noticed are helpful to try and get people to understand?
Well, I'll tell you, I've talked to a lot of different politicians and a lot of different people that are really influential on issues like these. And I will tell you that like 90% of these people are on our side, but there's still that like 10% that for some unexplainable reason, I don't get it. Whenever they bring up their own ideas, none of it ever makes any sense. But they're just not pro anything that we're doing. It's kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie, because I've talked to these people and some of their responses were, oh, we can't go too far with this because then we'll just keep going farther and farther and farther. Okay, well, we have to start at least somewhere.
You know, like you said, if there's nothing out there, see what your instincts tell you. See if there's something that you can create or you can create with your people in your life to try to make a change of a problem that, you know, that you're passionate about.
To just remember that just it hasn't happened to you doesn't mean that you have to believe in it. There seems to be a lot of lack of empathy. It's like when Dick Cheney really didn't seem to care about gay rights until he had a lesbian daughter, or Nancy Reagan didn't care about stem cell research until Ronald Reagan was going what he was going through. And I think that for me, I don't have to have cancer to know that it sucks. I don't have to lose my friend in a shooting to know that we need to have gun reform. And if you look at Australia, you know, that happened one time, and I think it was 35 victims there. And they came together as a nation and said, no more. This is not happening again. And this is happening hundreds of times a year in this country.
Yeah, being a good ally is not making mistakes. It's about what you do with the mistakes after. Where it's, right. It is, everyone messes up. Like, that's gonna be
life.
Yeah, exactly. No one can ever know anything. But if you're able to, like, actually take in the feedback and person and, you know, go and feel humiliated by yourself and not take it out on the person
Yes.
who gave you the feedback.
Yeah, a healthy level of self-loathing is like not bad.
Yeah, but also, I think then what do you do with? Sorry.
Go.
I was also going to say, then what do you do with that new information? Like what you're doing right now is creating space for consciousness to happen. It's not just that you take on the personal chagrin of it, but that you actually now make space for new happen. And I think that you amplify voices of the people who might not have been heard before.
Guys, this special announcement. That's so exciting. So here's what we need you to do. We need you to go like our Facebook page. Make sure you're following up on all the announcements coming up about our Give Back concert. Also, we're going to be back at you next Sunday. Breakdown. We're doing it again, guys. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep doing it. It's going to be great. We'll see you next week.